This is Meghan Markle's sickest stunt yet. This weekend, she decided to invoke the memory of dead Princess Diana in a deliberate attempt to terrorize her long-suffering husband, Prince Harry.
Again, I have to be careful what I say, but
Prince Harry just lost it. And this time, no royal gate, no palace wall, no bodyguard glare could hold it back. This wasn't some quiet frustration or polished PR meltdown. It was pure, raw fury bursting through the cracks. Witnesses were left stunned as Harry's entire expression changed the second he saw Meghan's new video being filmed just steps away from the tunnel where his mother's life ended.
This is gross and grim and deranged on every level.
They said it was like a switch flipped, like years of bottled-up emotion suddenly exploded in real time. There was no official response, no palace statement crafted by lawyers and image consultants, just unfiltered anger. Because for Harry, that tunnel isn't a metaphor or a media headline. It's the memory that still keeps him awake some nights, the one wound that never healed. And seeing Meghan there, casually lounging in the back of a luxury car, designer heels kicked up, camera lights flashing, rolling past the exact spot where Diana took her last breath, it wasn't just tone-deaf, it was chilling. That wasn't a tribute, it was a provocation. And this time, even Harry couldn't stay quiet. The clip went live on social media. Smiling face, perfect lighting, flawless filter, like it was just another glamorous post for millions to admire. But for Harry, it hit differently. What the world saw as content, he saw as crossing a line that should have never been touched. He stayed quiet through years of headlines, mockery, and gossip.
And she thinks that's a win, Brittany? No, we see you, Meghan. We see you, and now the world sees you.
But insiders say this time was different. This time, he snapped. According to a source close to the couple, Harry didn't just question her decision. He called it cruel, attention-hungry, and a betrayal of everything his mother stood for. His words reportedly shook the room, cutting through all the polished calm they usually keep in public. This wasn't the diplomatic, camera-ready Harry the press knows. This was a man who finally had enough. The confrontation was never meant to be seen by the world, but whispers suggest it didn't stay hidden for long, somewhere behind closed doors and out of the spotlight. That moment changed everything. After the Balenciaga show left their entire team stunned, Harry reportedly reached his breaking point. He accused Meghan of turning pain into performance, of using his mother's memory like another headline to chase relevance.
it's really quite sad.
Who does this? Who behaves like this?
Those words hit harder than anything he'd said before, slicing through the glittering air of Paris like a cold shock. Even the City of Lights felt darker that night. But that was only the beginning, because behind the locked doors of a five-star hotel suite, the calm cracked wide open. What started as tense whispers turned into a storm. Raised voices, raw emotions, and truths neither could take back. Insiders say even their closest team members couldn't diffuse the chaos this time. It wasn't just a disagreement, it was the kind of clash that changes everything. Now everyone around them is asking the same question we are. Did Meghan finally cross that invisible line between ambition and exploitation? Did she know what that location meant to him, or was it truly just a stunningly tone-deaf coincidence?
This is her in the car videoing herself with her legs up as she went past the tunnel in which Diana Spencer was so tragically killed in Paris.
What do you think? Was this a mistake gone viral, or a calculated move that went too far? Drop your thoughts below, because what unfolded in Paris was supposed to be Meghan Markle's shining rebirth. Flashbulbs bursting, applause echoing through the crowd. It was meant to be her moment. The grand return after months of silence. All eyes on her at Paris Fashion Week. Front row, custom couture, perfectly handpicked by designers who once kept their distance. The cameras caught every move, every smirk, every turn of her head.
She was the villain.
How was she dangerous?
Because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image.
For Meghan, it wasn't just a show. It was a statement. Fashion, fame, and control all blending into one glossy performance. For Harry, it was supposed to be harmless. Just another appearance, another event to smile through. He thought it was fashion, not fireworks. The world saw a polished Meghan, smiling, waving, every inch the perfect celebrity, bathed in Parisian light. The paparazzi captured her like she was reborn, radiant, unstoppable. Every step looked rehearsed, every glance felt strategic.
Meghan is using everything for publicity.
Just another appallingly tone-deaf action.
It was the Meghan brand, reborn and roaring back into relevance. Until that video, just seconds long, a casual clip filmed like any influencer moment. Her feet up, phone in hand, rolling past the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the exact place tied to the darkest night in Harry's past. Within hours, the internet erupted. Outrage lit up every feed. Words like disrespectful, staged, and unforgivable filled the comment sections. What was meant to be her comeback turned into chaos overnight. For those who still remember Diana's final moments, that video didn't just sting. It felt like a sacred memory turned into spectacle. It wasn't just another post. It was pain wrapped in filters and hashtags. But what made it even worse? The silence that followed.
But I have to just say, anyone who has doubted me over the past decade about this evil woman now needs to eat some humble pie, because this video, designed to mentally torture her husband.
No apology, no clarification, not even a hint of remorse. Just Meghan, smiling for the next set of flashing cameras at another high-end fashion show, as if nothing had happened. And yet, insiders close to the couple claim the silence wasn't calm, it was calculated. Meghan's doing her own thing, one insider reportedly said. "Harry, go do whatever you want. I'm doing what I want." Behind those designer sunglasses and flawless poses, Meghan wasn't tuning out the backlash, she was fueling it. Every angry comment, every viral debate only brought her more attention, more headlines, more spotlight. She knows controversy keeps her relevant, and the louder the outrage grew, the brighter the cameras burned back toward her.
And she did this all after teaming up with the dodgy child scandal fashion brand Balenciaga during a bizarre trip to Paris.
But that's where the story takes a darker twist, because what everyone first assumed was an innocent influencer-style video might not have been innocent at all. Online sleuths began analyzing every second of that clip, every reflection, every turn. And then they noticed something chilling. The car's route wasn't random. It mirrored Diana's exact final drive, right down to the left turn into the Pont de l'Alma underpass. That couldn't just be coincidence, could it? It wasn't a coincidence. It was choreography. Every step, every frame, every flick of the camera felt intentional, like a scene designed to ignite headlines. Nothing about that video was random. It was crafted, polished, and meant to spark conversation. But that conversation quickly spiraled into pure outrage. Fashion critics tried to justify it as symbolic. Royal reporters slammed it as disturbing. But what truly shattered the illusion was Harry's reaction. For years, he had defended Meghan through every rumor, every backlash, every scandal that hit the press. But this time, he didn't. Witnesses say he walked out of the event, cold, furious, and done, and even refused to ride back with her afterward. According to insiders, the argument that followed wasn't just about a video or a location, it was about intent. Harry reportedly accused her of turning his mother's memory into content, of using it like currency for attention. Meghan allegedly snapped back, saying, "It's just a place, not your property." Those words hit him harder than any headline ever could. Hours later, Meghan was seen sitting front row at the Balenciaga show, calm, collected, and unbothered. The very brand still shadowed by controversy. And that moment made everyone wonder, was this confidence or was it defiance?
Especially when he's on the BBC saying that it's not safe enough for my family in the UK, but it's safe enough for Meghan to be alone in Paris, literally engaging with the paparazzi you say killed your mother.
For someone who built her image around protecting children, standing beside a brand mired in exploitation rumors was pure hypocrisy, and it was broadcast in high definition. When questioned, Meghan's defense was polished but empty, claiming she was just showing support. But critics weren't buying it. To them, it wasn't loyalty. It was selective morality dressed in designer couture. One insider didn't hold back, saying, "Every time her spotlight dims, she taps into something dark to get it back." And honestly, that line spread across tabloids like wildfire. The public thought they'd seen attention-seeking before, but this time it felt different. Colder, sharper, deliberate. What was coming next would make every past headline look like just a teaser, because this wasn't an accident or a single misstep, it was a strategy, and the cracks in that strategy were finally starting to show. If reports are true, and Harry really confronted her behind closed doors, do you think he was right to finally lose his patience, or did he go too far?
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up.
Because once the public noise faded, something much deeper began to surface. Every scandal, every headline, every viral clip, they weren't random storms. They were chess moves, carefully timed from Netflix deals to red carpet stunts, each one building towards something far more calculated than anyone realized. Every public meltdown, every viral outrage, every perfectly timed leak, they all seemed to appear right before something big. A new announcement, a glossy photo shoot, or a headline-grabbing appearance. People inside the industry even started calling it the cycle. A rhythm of shock, silence, and spotlight that always seemed to circle back to one name: Meghan. Those close to the Sussex circle say Harry's finally starting to connect the dots. He's seeing the pattern play out again and again, and it's hitting him where it hurts most. Because in this rhythm, his pain becomes her platform, his mother's legacy turns into her aesthetic, and his silence gives her control.
Meghan is doing her own thing. Harry, go whatever with you. I'm doing what I want to do.
Behind that polished smile and camera-ready grace, it's all part of the same machine. The formula is simple but brutal. Turn every criticism into fuel and every backlash into buzz. Even her Balenciaga appearance wasn't random. That brand still sparks controversy, and she knows controversy equals attention. Attention equals relevance, and relevance, that's her currency. For Meghan, it's a strategy that keeps her name shining. But for Harry, it's a storm he can't escape. Friends say he's caught in a loop he never signed up for, one that's slowly tearing him apart while she keeps smiling for the flash. He's stuck in a no-win situation. Every time Harry tries to defend Meghan, it costs him another piece of himself. But every time he speaks out against her, it just feeds the same narrative she thrives on. It's no longer about one video or one fashion show. It's about something deeper, something built on control, emotional, public, psychological control, a system wrapped in compassion and sold as empowerment. And maybe that's the cruelest part of all, because what began as a fairy tale of rebellion and royalty has turned into something colder, calculated.
Well, how about having some thought towards your husband's feelings when you're in the same city his mom died in, running around, having a joyride in Paris near where she lost her life?
What once looked like love now feels like business. A business built on outrage, powered by pain, and protected by perfectly timed cameras. Every move, every coincidence, every viral clip feels less like luck and more like strategy. Now everyone's whispering the same question that Harry can't ignore. Is Meghan using controversy to stay relevant, or has she just been caught in the storm she helped create? Coincidence or calculation? That's the debate echoing through every event they attend, every room they walk into. That night, Paris glowed gold under the city lights, but the air around them had turned icy. For the first time, Meghan wasn't being photographed like a star.
How are you protecting children when you were promoting a brand that was accused of inappropriate behavior towards them?
She was being studied like a phenomenon. Every blink, every glance, every tiny movement between them told a story the microphones didn't have to catch. The cameras saw it all, her smile slipping for just a heartbeat as Harry brushed past her without a single word, his jaw tightening when she reached for his arm and he didn't take it.
Meghan entered this world like it was a Hollywood set, assuming she could rewrite the script, center herself in every scene, and edit out anything that didn't fit her narrative.
No yelling, no scene, just distance. And sometimes silence cuts deeper than any argument ever could. Online, that tension spread like wildfire. Fans slowed clips down frame by frame, dissecting micro-expressions like detectives examining evidence. A half smirk turned into proof of arrogance. A blink became a moment of guilt. Every zoom, every replay, every slow-motion edit made her look smaller, colder, and further from the woman the world thought they knew. The internet had turned their relationship into an investigation. Then came the crowd footage. Harry stepping out alone into a storm of flashbulbs that popped like fireworks around him. He didn't wave. He didn't smile. He just walked through the chaos, face carved with frustration, chased by a memory he can't escape.
Samantha Markle, Meghan's sister, posted, "Is it true that my sister was doing selfies in the tunnel where Diana died? That's what I'm hearing." Now that would be a really sick example of being a disaster tourist.
And while the world replayed that moment on loop, Meghan appeared days later at a gala dinner, radiant, collected, pretending nothing had ever happened. The contrast was shocking. One looked broken by the weight of the past, the other looked untouched, like the show simply had to go on. But behind the dazzling smile and sparkling lights, her eyes told a different story. They were scanning the crowd, not for approval, but for control. It was no longer about being liked. It was about staying powerful. That's the strange paradox of their story. The more picture-perfect their image becomes, the more fractured their reality feels. Because behind every camera flash, there's always a shadow. And lately, that shadow has started to look a lot like Harry. No warmth, no reconciliation, just two people orbiting the same scandal, pretending the script still reads like love.
Stephanie Sidley, if driving towards Princess Diana's death scene is a message to Prince William, then Meghan Markle is the devil.
As one insider whispered, "It's not a marriage anymore. It's a performance." And that line echoed across every tabloid headline that followed. The clip eventually stopped trending, but the damage didn't fade with the views. It lingered, permanent, raw, and public. Harry quietly slipped out of the spotlight, choosing silence over another staged scene. Meanwhile, Meghan did the exact opposite. Instead of retreating, she doubled down, stepping out at charity events, lunches, and galas, all smiles for the cameras. No apology, no explanation, just visibility. Because for her, silence isn't peace, it's absence, and absence means losing control. And that's the one thing she refuses to let happen. Stylists buzzed around her like stagehands before a performance, every hair strand and camera angle perfectly controlled. Her interviews were handpicked, filtered through only the friendliest outlets. The message was loud and clear. Meghan wasn't retreating, she was rewriting.
Did you see this moment right here? It was almost as cringe. She thinks something is funny. It clearly isn't. Turns to Marcus Anderson, her gay BFF who's behind all of this, wanting him to join in. He's like, no way, just turn around, behave. I've got this gig for you, you stupid woman, just behave. And then she's furious.
For her, control was never about truth. It was about narrative. Behind palace gates and PR filters, advisors whispered about damage control, rebranding, restructuring optics. But even the most loyal insiders couldn't hide the growing crack beneath the gloss. Harry stopped showing up beside her. No joint events, no united front, no carefully rehearsed smiles. Sources close to him said his silence wasn't weakness. It was strategy. Others believed it was self-preservation. Either way, he'd finally realized that sometimes the loudest statement is the one you don't make. Meanwhile, Meghan's team spun a very different story. Anonymous sources painting her as misunderstood, misquoted, misjudged.
I was just checking Us Weekly.
Wow.
You know, Harry and Meghan's personal press release service. I want to give you some of the headlines from Us Weekly in the last few hours.
Okay.
Meghan Markle quietly attends Balenciaga's Paris Fashion Week show. Quietly.
It was the oldest trick in the celebrity playbook. Turn victimhood into visibility and backlash into branding. For weeks, the tabloids became her mirror, each reflection more polished, more calculated than the last. But while she posed for headlines, Harry was spotted dining alone, quiet and withdrawn. Gone was the anger, replaced with exhaustion. Insiders described him as a man realizing a painful truth. Every apology he gives doesn't heal anything. It just becomes another headline she owns. Then came the whispers. A new project quietly shopped around to studios, marketed as a story of resilience, motherhood, and misunderstood women. A fresh narrative for an old playbook. And just like that, the cycle began again. New sympathy, new spotlight, and once more, total silence from Harry. But this wasn't recovery, it was repetition by design. The scandal didn't fade, it evolved. Because in their world, silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. Every pause, every disappearance, every break from the public eye feels less like peace and more like preparation.
It was just a terrible look. She does not look good. It looks like something you would see at a grandma's, like, you know, if she's celebrating her, let's say, 60th wedding anniversary, that's what a grandma would wear.
Sometimes the quiet after the chaos isn't calm. It's the sound of someone planning their next move. Every royal story starts with legacy, but this one refuses to end with it. For Harry, legacy was never about crowns, castles, or gold-plated glory. It was about memory, the faces and moments that shaped him long before fame. His mother's image still follows him everywhere. Her name dropped in interviews, her story replayed endlessly on screens. And maybe that's what hurts most, because the thing he's been running from all his life has somehow become the brand he's now trapped inside. Now that same legacy, the one built on love, loss, and memory, has turned into a battlefield between grief and spectacle. In quiet, private moments, friends say Harry still speaks about Diana not as the world's people's princess, but as a mother who just wanted peace and never got it.
Meghan Markle turns up at Paris Fashion Week, fancying herself to be kind of budget Angelina Jolie.
Wow.
But without the talent or the tits or the teeth. I mean, I think she fancies herself to be a bit of a catwalk model, more like an aged pussy. On the prowl, looking for its next.
To him, she's not a headline or a symbol, she's the ache that never really faded. But every time Meghan invokes her name, slips on her jewelry, or references her pain, it's like reopening that wound all over again. Only this time, it's not private. It's broadcast, posted, hashtagged, and analyzed by millions. What once felt sacred has become staged. Observers close to the royal circle say what began as admiration has now twisted into imitation. It's no longer about honoring the past, it's about owning the story of it. And that's what breaks Harry the most. Because no matter how far he runs, every headline pulls him back to the same place. To the image of Diana and the ghost of the boy who lost her. Every scandal becomes a reminder that he's still living inside a script written long before he had the chance to change it. Meanwhile, Meghan keeps moving forward, polished, unshaken, still preaching empowerment while standing in the echoes of another woman's history. It's no longer rebellion, it's reinvention on repeat. And each time the cameras flash, another invisible scar is left behind. Not on her image, but on the history she keeps borrowing from. And that's the cruelest irony of all. The same legacy that built their fame might just be the one that breaks them. Because when you build a brand out of borrowed pain, the echo always comes back louder. And this time, that echo sounds hauntingly familiar. It sounds like Diana's name being whispered all over again. Maybe it was all just a mistake. Maybe it wasn't. But one thing's certain, nothing around this couple happens by accident anymore.
She's walking around Paris like she's the She's got her arms flowing. She's really feeling her oats. Woman, please go back to California and be with your children and go and find a career other than just being desperate for attention every single day.
Every move feels planned, every photo op calculated, every leak conveniently timed. For years, the world saw a fairy tale, a prince who walked away from the palace and a woman who promised him freedom. But now, all that remains is noise. Bright lights, sharp lenses, and two people trapped inside the very story they swore they'd escaped. Harry looks at their past and sees pain that never healed. Meghan looks at the same story and sees potential, a spotlight, a storyline, a new campaign, and between those two visions, love has quietly slipped through the cracks. That moment by the tunnel wasn't just a lapse in judgment, it was the perfect reflection of their reality. Tragedy turned into optics. Grief turned into content.
Harry and Meghan will likely have their title stripped. I think they should have their title stripped. What is she doing for the monarchy? She's going to fashion shows with this horrible outfit, which looks like a bed sheet. Looks like she's wrapped in toilet paper.
One man searching for peace, the other chasing the camera that keeps the chaos alive. And in the silence between them, one question still lingers like smoke. How much longer can a love built on spectacle survive when the spotlight becomes the only thing holding it together? When everything you touch turns into a headline, how do you even tell the truth from the performance anymore? Maybe that's why Harry finally broke, because behind every lens, every exclusive, every polished whisper, he sees the one thing he can't protect anymore. His mother's memory being used as currency in the empire of publicity. Maybe the world doesn't need another photo op, another tearful interview, or another statement carefully written by PR teams. Maybe what it really needs is honesty, something raw, something real, something almost extinct in the game of fame. Because honesty can't be edited, and once it's gone, no amount of filters or interviews can bring it back. So what do you think? Has this gone too far?
If I know that this is a place that my husband hates because it's where he lost his mom, I'm not going to go there.
Has the royal fairy tale finally turned into a never-ending performance? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to see how deep this pattern of control and chaos really runs, make sure you like, subscribe, and check out our previous investigation where we unpack Harry and Meghan's shocking public clash. The story that exposed just how far the illusion of control can really go.